Hello, Mindset Recovery friends. This is Roberto. So it is Christmas Eve 2024. Um, I made a video, I don't know, a few weeks ago. Um, had a realization. Um, had been clean for about 2 years and 2.5 years. Then decided to partake of alcohol moderately once a week. That's still been going without a hitch. Saw some unmanageability cropping up in other areas of my life and realized that I need to do something about that. Utilize the tools of the program. As a result, I don't know if I said it in the last video, but Christmas Eve tonight, I plan on drinking the 3 beers that I normally drink on Fridays. And then what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to get a bottle of some nice sparkling Spumante, Ballatori, like an Italian version of champagne, but it's sweet. And I'm going to have a few glasses of that with some people celebrating for New Year's Eve and then New Year's Day. I am going to fast from alcohol probably for at least 4 months. We'll see how that goes. I'm going on vacation in April with a good friend of mine who's in AA. And so not going to be partaking of any alcohol around him. Don't want to tempt my brother. But so basically, here's the situation. I'm not really sure exactly what I was planning on saying. So I was in and out of 12-step recovery for over 30 years, AA, NA, Celebrate Recovery, and was never really willing to commit to the program. Step one stuff, surrender, and so I had moderated reasonably well. And when I drank more than I should have back in the day, and suffered the consequences of feeling like ass, and just general unmanageability. But that's one of the things that kept me from surrendering, because I didn't see the unmanageability, because I was working, doing well in school, at some points being a boss of people, running my own business, doing well at work, making good money, dealing a little dope on the side to kind of fund my habit. And was married, took care of my family, had a house, car, job, all that stuff. So anyway, I didn't see that as unmanageability. And what I realized is in 2019, when I had a stroke, and it was as a result of not taking care of myself, abusing my body, abusing drugs and alcohol. But it wasn't like an OD or anything like that happened all at once. It was a buildup of making bad decisions and using against my will and things of that nature. And so I ended up wearing my body out, got to be 53 years old, just trying to party like a rock star like I used to when I was in my 20s. And my 53-year-old body just could not handle it. And so I wasn't getting enough sleep. I was partying too much, staying up late, drinking to go to sleep, taking sleeping pills. It was just, bad scene. And eventually it caught up with me and had a stroke. So at that point, I kind of had to face reality. And I knew all along, because I'd been in and out of 12-step recovery, I knew all along that this was going to have to end. And I was praying to my higher power to help me quit, but I wasn't willing to do my part. Wanted my higher power to do all the work. And what I found out about my higher power, who is Jesus Christ, my higher power won't do anything against your will. So he wants permission, and you give him permission, and then slowly but surely your life starts to change. you start being able to do the things that you, as a normal human being with no power or powerless, can't do. We struggle to do the right things or not do the wrong things, but we do them anyway because we're powerless. And then when we get hooked up with a higher power in A and AA, they say of your understanding, I'm totally cool with that. Whatever gets you there. The only stipulations that those programs put on it is loving, caring, has your best interest in mind, is powerful enough to help you in your recovery. But you can choose to call it whatever you want. My personal belief is that if it's working, there's only one God, in my opinion, so it's got to be Him. You can come in from the other way and call Him what you want, but if it's working in your life, eventually the 12 steps are designed to connect us to a higher power. My higher power is a big boy. You get hooked up with him, and he can worry about what you call him, or he or she, or whatever it is. So I'm open-minded in that, of letting people be where they're at, and just trying to get them connected to a program, help them start off. You have to be abstinent. You cannot be getting messed up and your brain's in the wrong place and then working steps. And it just, for me, my experience is that that doesn't work. So at this point, I believe that the steps are the program. And so I've said before, but I think that for me, and I've seen it with other people, addicts and alcoholics are kind of jacked up, you know, from our childhood, traumatic stuff happened, varying levels of that. I thought that my childhood was really dramatically bad, abuse and stuff, but really when I compare it to other people's experiences, it really wasn't that bad. But the thing is, every man thinks his burden is the heaviest. So it was traumatic for me. So anyway, um then I grew up, I felt a part of, you know similar story to a lot of addicts I've heard. Parents got divorced when I was young, no dad in my life. Then mom got remarried to a stepdad who I didn't really like. It turns out, looking back, hindsight, he wasn't as much of a jerk as I thought he was. But in my mind at the time, he was a really bad dude. And so I took everything personally, and it was all about him not liking me and making me feel less than. And if my dad hadn't have left, I wouldn't have been dealing with this knucklehead, and just, personalizing all that stuff, and had a lot of self pity. Then we moved around a lot. So that's another thing I hear, not settled in one place. And this is common, but there's no ideal situation to make somebody become an addict. So some people had perfect childhood, stayed in the same place, grew up in the church, whatever, and then just went haywire and decided to go crazy. But a lot of them have shared, and in my situation, I experienced, we moved a lot. I was in lots of different schools. I never really got plugged in, had to change friends all the time, and was acting out in non-alcoholic and drug ways, just with behavior, uh, sexual behavior, and just generally being a manipulative, spoiled brat. Different ways I acted out until I had a lot of anxiety in my life, and uncomfortable with myself. And when I found drugs, marijuana, I thought that that was the answer to all my problems. I used it to self-soothe, made me feel better. It worked a little bit in the beginning. Then, eventually drugs stop working. And then, we don't know any other way to cope. And so we keep on doing what we know to do, and we're not solving any problems, and we're just digging the hole deeper and deeper. And then, you add different drugs to the mix. And marijuana, I don't think marijuana is in and of itself really a terrible thing. If somebody were to be able to use marijuana, manage it, in a mature way and maybe just use it every once in a while or things of that nature, I don't think that it would be super negatively impactful. But for a lot of people, they get addicted to marijuana. It's not physically addictive, in my opinion. But when you're using it as a coping mechanism and waking and baking every day, and every time something goes wrong, you get stoned and people piss you off, and you got to have it, and you're just used to managing your anxiety with it, then you become addicted to it. You need it to sleep. Some people need it to eat, and then for me, then I got burned out because marijuana made me I smoke it all day long. And then by the evening, I had a headache. I was tired. I was burned out. And then it was time to drink some alcohol. And so, it just became a horrible pattern. And then we introduced some other drugs into the mix. I like to say that I never liked hard drugs. I liked soft, powdery ones, which, I think is hilarious, but it gives you a general idea. So we don't talk about specific drugs. Really liked that drug. Cost prohibitive. Sold it for a while in my 20s. Got hooked on it, and then guy got busted, went to prison. He was a lot older than me. Probably saved my life, got me away from access to that drug. But then still selling weed. From the time I was 15, 16 years old. Never became a kingpin or anything, but always sold it to support my habit. Because marijuana got more and more expensive. Alcohol is not cheap. And then if I ever came across that other substance, it was expensive. So when I was in my early 50s, the guy that I was buying my marijuana from, he had access to this other substance that I had liked from my youth. And then I had a connection to it. I had credit with him. He had it when desire and opportunity meet. That's a bad scene for me. And I'd go over there and he'd say, "Hey, try this. It's great." And then I'd try it, and then I instantly wanted more. There was just as much as I could get and do it till it's gone. And he'd be like, "Hey, do you want some?" And I'm like, "I don't have the money for that." And he'd say, "Well, don't worry about it. Put it on the tab." So then I had credit, and that was a quick train to nowhere right there. So 3 years into that, my body was just not able to maintain, and so I had to cut that lifestyle out. I had to quit dealing. I had to people, places, and things. Um, I'd sell. I'm going to sell weed because I don't have a problem with weed. I had quit smoking it by then, maybe occasionally, but mostly socially. But I was like, well, now that I'm not, using alcohol and marijuana, I can just sell marijuana, make money, and pay my bills. Well, that's a common trap that addicts get into because, it wasn't alcohol and marijuana that I wanted, but I made money and then I could buy what I wanted. And then, so every time I turn around and make a little bit of money, I'd be going back to the dope man's house. So I had to remove all of that from my life. I had to get serious. I had to get some discipline, work a program, get a sponsor, go to meetings, and all of that helps. But even if you are in a 12-step program and you read the literature, a lot of people don't notice this, but it really stresses the spiritual side of the program because, like I said before, AA made the 12 steps to lead someone to a relationship with the higher power because we are powerless. In step one, we admit that we're powerless over our addiction or over alcohol or over gambling or whatever, but there is a power greater than us that can restore us to sanity. In the second step, we realize, well, I'm screwed, man. I'm powerless. I'm never going to be able to stop this. In step two, we realize there is a power greater than ourselves. We come to believe that. And then the rest of the steps are, third step, we turn our will and our lives over to that higher power. So if you're missing the spiritual component of this program, for me, alcohol and drugs were just a symptom of the problem. And what I really needed was a relationship with a higher power and then that gives me the power to have my life be a little more manageable. It doesn't make me, God. I can't do everything, but it helps me do the things that I'm trying to do, not do the things that I'm trying to not do. And as I improve my character and my behavior, my life starts to get better. So, anyway, I said all that to say, um, so now, and I don't want to advocate this because, like, I have a friend that goes to celebrate recovery with me now, and he picked up a surrender chip last night, and I shared in the meeting that since I got my second year clean in Narcotics Anonymous, I celebrated by having a couple beers, and I've continued that once a week. And even though it has not gotten out of control, I have not gone and bought any other drugs. I haven't done anything, catastrophic, wreck my car, anything DUI. I've noticed my life getting a little bit unmanageable and some of my other character defects, um, intolerance, patience. I have a critical spirit. I hold everyone around me to a higher standard than me. See, the 12 steps are helping me work on that. I'm asking my higher power to remove those character defects and my shortcomings. So, character defects don't really go away. They are like God given instincts that have kind of gone out of control. Like, let's just say sex instinct. It's a God given instinct, in my opinion, because, if people didn't have sex, they wouldn't have babies, and then the human race would not survive. But, we got other stuff to do. We have to make money. We have to take care of our families. There's other things that we need to do besides sit around and have sex all day. Um, so if that instinct gets overblown and you're like, yeah, well, it's human instinct. I'm a man. I have needs. So now I have to have sex with every female that I come in contact with, or something like that. Or all I think about is looking at naked girls on the internet and masturbating. My life is now unmanageable because of that character defect, which is a natural God given instinct, but it was not designed to be used the way I'm using it. So that's never going to go away because that's a God given instinct. But it says we humbly asked God to remove our shortcomings. And the way that's been described to me is, the character defect never really goes away, but the shortcoming is acting on it. So something that I've heard that makes a lot of sense. If I walk out to my car in the morning and the tire's flat, that's a character defect. There's but what can I do about that? Using the tools of the program, and I look at it and I'm like, well, this ain't good. I need to change the tire, or I need to call AAA, or I need to fix a flat. Something I can do that's within my control to change that situation and make it better. A shortcoming is screw it, tire's flat. I don't got time to fool with this. I'm going to drive on it flat and just do it anyway. So, that means a lot to me because I know I have a character defect of, say, being critical and judgmental of people. And it's going to go on in my head. I mean, I can't control that. Hopefully, I'll get some relief from it. But I'm going to judge people because that's how my brain works. And I did it for years and years. But you know what? I used to have to always be right. And I used to have to tell people what's up and what they needed to do and try to control their behavior. And, anyway, and I don't have to do that today. So I may not be able to control the fact that when I see you not using your turn signal or doing an illegal lane change, those are things that drive me nuts. But I don't have to pull up next to you and beat my horn and flip you off and tell you what an idiot you are. That's a shortcoming. That's acting out on that character defect. So I'm getting some relief today. But what I noticed is when I started drinking, even though I was able to control that, I've been able to control that behavior, hasn't gotten out of control. These other areas of my life, it's like whack-a-mole. These other shortcomings seem to be popping up. And they haven't gotten out of control. I haven't told anybody what's up. I haven't called people at my work and told them what idiots they are because they don't know what they're doing. And if everybody would just do it the way I do it, everyone would be happier. Those are things that go on in here, but I don't have to act out on those things today. So I realized that some of these character defects have been, popping up, and recovery today, after having been working a pretty solid program for over 2.5 years, haven't, I'm not perfect. I still make mistakes. Apparently I've gotten a little bit more self-control because, when I go get 2 or 3 beers and drink them, I don't have to go back to the store and get more beer and get shit faced and go drive up to the bar and try to find dope and you know whatever the crazy stuff that I was doing before. Um, so, but what I want to do now is I have the wherewithal to look and see the warning signs and decide, because I can do anything that I'm willing to accept the consequences for. And that was pretty much how I made my decision with the alcohol. I'm like, this will either be okay or it'll go horribly wrong. Well, there was a middle ground that I didn't realize. It didn't go horribly wrong and it wasn't okay. It's concerning, and I'm not willing to accept worse consequences. So then, if I want something different than what I've been getting, I have to do something different than what I've been doing. So, what I've decided to do is New Year's Eve is going to be, I'm gonna try to have a couple of glasses of an adult beverage and chill out and enjoy myself, have some appetizers, spend time with my family, and then starting January the 1st, I'm going to chill out on alcohol. I'm calling it fasting. I'm going to try to make it all the way through April, because I'm going on vacation with my friend. I don't want to drink around them. And then in May, I may just say, hey, my birthday is in the June. Maybe I'll have a couple beers for my birthday. I don't know. I'm playing it by ear. But today I have a power greater than myself helping me make decisions. And prayer and meditation is the key, in my opinion. And so what I've done is I have strengthened my conscious contact with my higher power. I've been spending more time in prayer and meditation. I've been listening to things that support my relationship with my higher power, and so I've seen some of those character defects and things. They're not as affecting me as much as they were, but also I'm getting a little clarity in my mind that I'm being led to chill on the alcohol because that's self will. I know that my higher power doesn't want me to hurt myself or other people. And so far, I don't think anyone else has been negatively impacted. But, I've just been feeling the effects of taking my will back in that one area and struggling with other things that had not been bothering me. So today, I have the ability to reach out and use the tools of this program and pray and get my higher power to give me wisdom and discernment, and then give me the power to do what my higher power wants me to do. Because we, in the 11th step, we pray only for the knowledge of his will for us and the power to carry it out. And so now I feel like my higher power, Jesus Christ, is telling me, you need to chill out, son. You had your little drinking for, since August, in August, at the end of uh, December, we need to put the kibosh on that, try to chill out. And, it's one day at a time. So, he's not going to give me the roadmap for the rest of my life. But, at this point, I really feel led to chill out, see how it goes. Maybe I won't drink in June, but I do know that I don't need to do any hard drugs. I don't need to, act out with women. That was one of my situations that made my life unmanageable, and don't want to hurt me or other people. And I think that would hurt them. I think and it hurt me too emotionally. And it can be dangerous. You don't know something that you can't wash off with Ajax that can impact you for the rest of your life. So anyway, said all that to say, I still am a firm believer in the 12 steps. As far as one's too many and 1,000 is never enough, I'm not saying that that's wrong. Clearly, that hasn't ended up being the case for me. I wouldn't say that means I'm not an addict. They say some people are sicker than others, but I do know that I'm not going to continue to fool with that because I see, I play the tape all the way to the end and I see where that can lead. And it's not that big of a deal to me today. I don't have to drink. I just think I wanted to prove to myself that I could do it for a little while. And then I saw that it's affected me in other areas. So today I can make a decision to live life in a different way. And hopefully that's encouraging. And, just get hooked up with your higher power, get a sponsor, somebody you can get honest with. Honesty is the key to this program. We can't be healed from something that's a fantasy. If we got this mask on that we're, whoever I was the Mac Daddy drug dealer, cool guy that had the best drugs and had money that didn't belong to me that I owed to my drug dealer, and I'm buying people drinks and partying with them. And I thought I was Billy Badass. That's not me. That's not the real me. So the steps are teaching me who I am, what my actions have done to hurt myself and others, and help me make a decision of what I do not want to do anymore. Then I ask my higher power to help relieve me of that. And then I have to listen, and I have to have a group of people in my network that I can be honest with that can point, self-deception out to me and be like, yeah, man, I don't know with this drinking thing, dude, Roberto. you know, it's a long road to hoe. It hasn't worked out too well in my life. I think you need to chill on that. In my opinion, I would, whatever, being honest with people. So anyway, this is Roberto signing off. Fight the good fight. If you would like to talk to somebody, get some advice or some suggestions, look for some literature resources, things like that, feel free to reach out to me. Um, Commenting on this video is probably not the best way because I probably won't see it. My personal email is paster67 at hotmail.com. That's P as in Paul, S as in Sam, T as in Tango, ER67 at hotmail.com. If you put recovery or mindset recovery in the subject line, I will respond to you. I'm not a therapist, not a doctor. Just got 35 years of experience of what not to do and 2.5 years of experience of how this program has helped me. And I'm willing to share because we keep what we have by giving it away. Maybe I know more than you about what to do. I don't know, but get a sponsor that's worked this program and has plenty of clean time and knows how to not burn their life to the ground so they can help you make that decision. Sponsorship is the heartbeat of the program. Anyway, keep fighting the good fight. And if nobody's told you today that they love you, I love you. And have a good day.